All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this TEAS nursing workshop. I'm Kelly,
I'm Tiara.
and we are your pre-nursing advisors here at the park, which is the Peer and Academic Resource Center. So for today, our agenda is going to look like this. From 5 to 5:10, we're going to be doing introductions. 5:10 to 6 o'clock, we're going to do the presentation and some practice questions. By some, I mean one practice question from each of the section, because I don't want this to be like just like a study session. I just want to go over the format of the exam and like how to register for it too. But we can go over some study tips. And then from 6 to 6:30, I have guest speakers who are current nursing students. And then towards the end, when the guest speakers are speaking, we will be doing our raffle. And then I think the raffle is for an Amazon gift card so that you can purchase a TEAS study book when you're going to take the TEAS. What is? Oh, no. Okay, hold on. I was editing this. Okay, so hi, my name is Kelly. I'm a third semester nursing student here at Sac State at the park. Also a pre-nursing advisor, mentor, and tutor. I am an embedded tutor for Chem 6A, but I am still open to all other students on campus. It's just Chem 6A is like where I tutor a lot of students. I also do advising for nursing students, for pre-nursing students. So if you guys need some advice on like courses to take or like a roadmap, I can help you with that. My office hours are Mondays and Wednesdays from 12 to 1:30. And I'm still currently on Zoom, but if you would like to meet in person, you could always let me know.
Hey guys, my name is Tiara, and so I'm going to talk about what I do with Park. I'm also a fourth year health science major. So I am a supplemental instruction leader for Bio 10, and I also am a peer nursing advisor and tutor for Bio 10, 25, and 26. My office hours are Monday 10 to 2, Tuesday 2 to Wednesday 9 to 1:30, Tuesday and Thursday 2:30 to 4:30. And there's a link you can use to join. It's the same as Kelly's, I believe. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Okay, so some disclaimers before we start today. All tips and strategies given today do not guarantee a competitive score. Most of the information that we share with you guys will be different study tips that work for us. And so again, your score is dependent on how you study. Also, we won't be going through each section of the TEAS, but we'll talk about overall strategies and the format of the exam and also how to register for it too.
Okay, so for the TEAS, it is a test of essential academic skills, and that's what it stands for. It is also designed to assess students' preparedness entering the health science fields. There is 170 questions, and it is multiple choice. And because of COVID, test administered online format is being proctored by ProctorU, or we have in person at a school or testing center. And where would you take the Proctor TEAS exam? So they offer several test taking methods, but the TEAS is always proctored and always the same exam no matter the setting. So you can have an in-person option, and this could be like on campus at a school or testing center such as the PSI with an in-person proctor. Or there's a remote online option, and you could take the exam from home or another desired location via an online remote proctor.
So I got this picture directly from the TEAS, the ATI TEAS website. So when you go to register, when you say I want to register for my TEAS exam, these 4 boxes will show up asking you how you would like to take the TEAS exam. So you have a TEAS online proctored by ATI, which is the proctor that is provided through the ATI. Then you have a TEAS, which is proctored by an institution. So you can take an online exam, but with a remote proctor from someone in an institution. And then same thing, you can have in person, you can take it on campus, or in-person proctored in the testing center. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go over the structure. So there's 4 sections. This includes the reading, math, science section, and English and language arts, which is like grammar. And the number of questions per section, so it varies. The reading and science section all have 53 questions. The math section has 36, and the English and language arts section has 28. And this brings it to a total of 107 questions, and for a total of 209 minutes, all multiple choice with 4 options. So once you complete a section, you cannot go back to the previous sections, and you get a score as soon as you submit your last section. However, what I do want to note is that when you are like in a specific section, like let's say the reading, you are able to go back to the questions within that reading section. You're just not, once you move on to the next one, let's say it's math, I believe it's the second option, second section, you can't go back to the reading if you're on a math question. So that's just how it works.
And then someone had a hand up.
Yeah, hi guys.
Hi.
Okay, I don't want to take too much of the time in between the slides, but I'm actually not a Sac State student. I was actually trying to get into an LVN program here in Stockton called Xavier's, and I did take my TEAS test. Unfortunately, I didn't get in by 2%. My question was, I heard that they're coming out with a new TEAS like structure, which is a tiny bit different from the old structure. Like it still has the same amount of questions, but like the amount of questions in reading and math in every section are different than the old one.
Mm-hmm. I did hear about that too, but I don't think they're starting that until 2023. So all the information that I've given you guys today, I did double check on the website, I think last week. And so this is still currently. What I know is that they're not implementing that new structure until 2023.
Okay, and then
Yeah.
also just a really quick question. I found the Zoom meeting off of Instagram. Does this Zoom meeting also talk about like the RN program for Sac State to take the TEAS test?
Yeah,
Yes.
so we're gonna actually, we went over that in the last Zoom meeting, but that's recorded, and so we can always send that to you guys like in the chat later on if it's posted on YouTube. We have like another meeting that was recorded that goes over like the program, but today specifically is just going to be the TEAS. So we'll send you that recording in the chat later on at the end for
Okay,
you to
definitely.
view the other one. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll also be talking about the requirements of the TEAS for Sac State's program too. Okay, so again, the reading section, I took these directly off the TEAS website. So they're gonna be asking you questions about key ideas and details, craft and structure, and integration of knowledge and ideas. So you have 53 questions for 64 minutes. In the reading section, they give you like a little passage or a little article, and then there's like 4 to 5 questions, could be more or less. And then that's the reading portion.
Okay, so for the math and science section, so the math section includes numbers and algebra, and measurement and data. So this brings it to a total of 36 questions, for a total of 54 minutes. And for the math section, a lot of it, what I remember was like how to convert fractions into decimals or how to convert decimals into fractions. And so like if you have that basic understanding of like algebra 1, it's a very easy section. And also for the science section, a majority of it is going to be the anatomy and physiology aspect. There's also a few life and physical science sections and scientific reasoning questions, but a majority and the bulk of it will be anatomy and physiology. And this has a little bit more questions in the math section of 53 questions, which was the same as the reading. And you have a total of 63 minutes for this section.
I also wanted to note that in the math section, there was a lot of like, how do you find X? or what does y equal if x equals this, stuff like that. And then you have an English and language usage portion. So this tests your conventions of standard English, knowledge of the language, vocabulary acquisitions. This is kind of like your spelling and grammar section. So in this section, you have 28 questions in 28 minutes. This isn't a super hard section because it goes by so fast, but the questions are super short, and they'll ask you about like prefixes or suffixes, like word meaning, stuff like that.
Okay, so this is how to register. So you register at the ATI testing website, and you can make an account and register for a proctored TEAS exam. If it's online, the location will not matter since it would be online. However, you do need to have like a clear area where there's no one around, and also you are not allowed to have like notes or anything. They do make you take pictures of where you are, so make sure that you are just taking it alone in a closed location. Also, make sure you send your scores to California State, Sacramento, before the last day to apply. And so for the fall semester, you will have until March 1st to complete the exam, and you will have until March 15th to send your scores. For spring, you will have until October 1st to complete this exam, and you will have until October 15th to send your scores in. And so for the remote proctoring, for the nursing, it will be $115. And for the institution remote, it varies, I believe. So Kelly will go over that later on.
So when you go to take a proctored exam, all the remote ones, so all the online ones, are going to be 115. And then the institution ones are based on the institutions, so they have different prices. And then a lot of you guys said that you're going to try to take the TEAS over the summer to apply for spring 23. So that October 1st date is going to be really important to you, because that's the last day to take the TEAS exam. And then October 15th is the last day to send your scores in.
I just had a question. So I'm planning on taking it like when we come back to school, probably in the fall. So as long as I take it before October 1st, that's still okay.
That's perfect.
Thank
So I just wanted to show you guys here. So if you wanted to take an institution remote proctor, these would be the different prices for the exams. So like, if you wanted to take it like CSU Stan, if they host it, it's going to be 102. I know Sac State used to host these exams, but they don't anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, and then some of them, you see how it says restricted access school applicants only. So you can only do that testing site if you go to that school.
Okay, so here are some things to remember. Once you schedule an exam, it is final, and there are no returns. I believe like if you have a very compelling reason, you can call the company, and they'll review the reasons why your reason why you can't take the exam. But very important to note that if you can't make it to your exam, you probably won't be able to get like a refund or a return. And you can send your transcripts to as many schools as you want, and you have to purchase for each school about $27. The institutions will know how many attempts you did. For Sac State, you have 3 attempts within 5 years. So just note that. A calculator will be provided, and if you are more than 30 minutes late, you may not be admitted, and no refund or reschedule will be offered. So if you are taking an online proctored exam, it is very important to have good Wi-Fi, because if you're having trouble, like it can take a while to get into the website, because that happened to me in the middle of my exam. So make sure to have good Wi-Fi wherever you are at taking the test, and because no refund or reschedule will be offered for you.
And then the calculator that they'll provide you, whether you're in person, whether you're taking your exam in person or online, it's going to be an online calculator. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you guys. The transcript. So again, you guys remember each transcript was $27 that if you wanted to send it to your schools. So when you're registering, this is at the end of the registration. If you go down the page and it talks about transcripts, see, so if you want to transcript additional transcripts for $27 or yeah. And then if you take an online test, an online version of the TEAS, when you check out, there is one free transcript with your purchase. However, if we go to the in-person one, because this one's in Sacramento, and if people want to take their TEAS in person, they can go to the U of A in Sacramento. You do not get that free transcript. However, the price for the Sacramento location, if you want to take it in person, is cheaper than if you wanted to do it online. So that's some things you guys want to give and take. And then see if you do one free transcript, it's going to be included in your $115 if you take it remote. And then it's only $107 if you take it in person, but no free transcript. And that was as of April 18th, so last week. And I just checked these two.
Okay, so for the requirements for Sac State for the TEAS, so you have a maximum of 30 points on the TEAS section for the program or for the points system, and you have 3 attempts allowed. I was reading something on the Sac State like program requirements that you could take it within 5 years, but you still only have 3 attempts. So I guess once your 5 years is up from your last time you took it, you can probably take it again, but I'd have to double check on that. The minimum score is a 75%. For fall 2021, the average TEAS test score was 92%, 92.37%. And the range was 86.7, which was the lowest score that was admitted, and then 97.3 was the highest score. For spring 2021, the average TEAS test score was 91%, and the range was 85.3 to 97.3. There is no limit of time between attempts, and the test may be taken 3 times within a 5-year period preceding the supplemental nursing application deadline, and the highest score will be used. Scores over 5 years old are acceptable. However, they will not be considered an attempt when determining the 3 attempt limit.
So fall 21 is the semester that was the COVID semester when they only accepted 40 students, which is why their average TEAS is really high. And then spring 21 is my class, the cohort that I was admitted in, and this was our average. Yeah. So here's the score to point breakdown. And if you guys know about Sac State's nursing program, we go on a point system. So how many points you get will be decided on your percentage on what you get on the TEAS. And so we really want to aim for those 90s to 100% on the TEAS, because a good portion of your points come from the TEAS.
Okay, so here are some study tips. So we recommend that you take the TEAS after taking Bio 26. There is not very much chemistry on there, if not like any questions about chemistry, maybe like 1 or 2 basic questions. And most of the science questions are concepts in Bio 26. So if you took Bio 26 at Sac State and you have that big lab manual that they give you, that is a very useful tool. And also there are certain books that I have used that are useful, but nothing was as like the best than that big lab book that they give you for lecture. for Bio 26. And we recommend that you study at least a month in advance. So give yourself like at least 4 weeks to study. When you give yourself a longer amount of time, I think it's harder to schedule out things because, you know, studying takes like a certain amount of, you know, mental focus. So recommend that you like really crack down within a month so that you can get like the best scores possible. Also, pay attention to the questions in the article in the reading and English section and the language arts portion, because really want to make sure that you get like as many questions right so that like your average score or percentage is higher if you get more questions wrong in the science section. So for the TEAS website, it recommends that at least you study like 6 weeks to study prior for the exam and create a 6-week study plan. So they have one on their website, so you can take a look at that if you want.
I just wanted to make a note about the reading and English and language arts portion, because the questions, you can figure it out using context clues, sort of. So you really just want to like read the article and try to understand it and like pay attention to what the question's asking, because those are like easy questions that they'll give you. It's just sometimes we think that we don't have enough time to read the article, so we kind of just skim through it, but really pay attention to those because the answer is really in there. These are the study packages that the TEAS website has on their website. So this is the one that they recommend, the comprehensive study package. It's $249. It includes like practice tests, all the good stuff. That's the one that they recommend people to get. So if you see at the bottom, it says best if you need a higher T score. And then this second one, the basic study package for $90 is best if you've taken all the prereqs and you need a basic review. And then this $80 one, just the practice package, is best if you just need more practice questions. So whatever fits you and whatever you feel like you need more practice on, this is what they offer you on the website.
Also, I want to note that I think like the best deal would be the $80 package, because you get that like A and P practice test. You do get it in the assessments in A and B, but it's also useful to like, you know, retake if you need to, because you can only access the practice assessments A and B one time. So it might be helpful for you to get like the A and P practice test with that. I don't know if the 249 package comes with an A&P practice test, but it will come with it in the assessment. So you can always take note of that. And I believe you have as long as you keep your test open, you can take it like for however long you want, if you keep that window open for the exam. So I think that's something to note as well. Oh, okay. And then so for the other packages that are available, Kelly, do you mind zooming in? I can't really read it a little.
I can do it. I can't zoom in.
Oh, you can't zoom in.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay.
So,
I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the Smart Prep tutorial for $189. And this one's best if you are taking the TEAS again. So this is maybe like your second or third time if you're applying for Sac State. This is the online practice assessment. And this one's best if you just need a quick basic review of the TEAS exam. And then there's a study manual, and that's best if you want a comprehensive study guide directly aligned with the TEAS exam. So again, if you want to go over each of their pros and benefits of what each package offers and try to see what you need best. But I like to tell students that the TEAS is kind of like your standardized testing that we all did in high school. The only difference is, I would say, like the science portion, which is why we recommend you take Bio 26 before you take the TEAS.
Okay, so the helpful books that we recommend you using, the one I used was the Secrets one, and then there's also a Kaplan one that's very good as well. But I believe this one has like more reviews on this one, like higher reviews on Amazon, like a lot more. So this is the one like I recommend you using because it's a very good book to go over each section. And the anatomy and physio part, it's very like extensive. So that's a very good like book to use. Also, for the Kaplan one, I think it might be more expensive. I believe I could be wrong, but I feel like this one is a little bit more than this one. But either way works.
Sorry. And then how I studied was I didn't really buy the books because I knew it was kind of like a standardized test. So, and I knew that the only portion I needed help with was the science portion. So what I did was I took practice tests. The only way that I could memorize things was through practice testing. If I read a book or like a study guide, that wasn't going to be helpful to me. And if you are the same, then I would suggest using these websites because they give you free practice tests. The con about these practice tests is that obviously they're the same questions repeated over and over again. So you can only probably take it like once, but they have a lot of practice questions too. And then there's just more. And then I put the link to all of these websites in the PowerPoint, and I could send you guys the link to the PowerPoint at the end so that you can access all of these books and then the websites. These two websites are really helpful if you just need anatomy and physio help. So these are just little quizzes for anatomy and physio and for the science portion.
Okay, so there also are free YouTube resources. So there's Brandon Kraft, which he helps a lot with math. I used him with the math section as well. I also use Caroline McAllister for the reading and grammar one, and there is a crash course of A&P. And there's like one more person, I can't think of her name, but just look up TEAS resources and for anatomy and physio, and you can find that online because there's a lot of videos on the TEAS. So recommend using YouTube as like a way to study.
What I did was after I was studying for like 3 weeks of just reading and practice quizzes, I would just put like YouTube videos on because my brain was so dead that I didn't know if I could study anymore. So I would just put the YouTube videos on and just listen to what other people had to say. And maybe it'll be helpful for you too. So I just wanted to show you guys this sample reading question that I got from one of those websites. I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't expect you guys to answer it. I just wanted to show you how it looks like. So what they'll give you here is a reading. And then there's going to be multiple questions about that reading. So, and this is the type of question that they'll ask you. They're like, what type of writing is this? And then you would have to know the different types of writing.
Okay, so here's a sample math question. So if Sarah can read 15 pages in 10 minutes, how long will it take her to read 45 pages? I don't know if are we gonna let them answer?
If you guys want to, I know the answer to it because I made the PowerPoint. If you guys want to answer it, you can. Again, this is just to show you what type of questions they'll ask. And you can see how the question is formatted. They kind of just want you to look for X, right? Yeah. And then here is an example science question. The spleen functions are part of which system? See, this part was the hardest for me, the science portion, because it was like you either knew it or you didn't. And there was no way I could do like context clues to figure out the spleen. If you can, props to you. But I knew that I couldn't. So a lot of my studying was on the science portion. And this is the type of question they'll ask you. They might use bigger words too, so you never know. TR, you're muted.
Oops. Okay, for the language usage section, which is like mostly grammar and like understanding how to format sentences, based on the two parts of the word polysemi, or I can't say it right now,
Polysemi.
polysemi, which of the following definitions is correct? So you have, these answers. I believe it's A. I could be wrong.
I think so, yeah, I think it's A, yeah.
Poly means multiple, so it's multiple.
See, so the questions that they'll ask you in the English and language portion is like how well you know like word roots or like prefixes and suffixes, stuff like that. Definition.
Believe it or not, when you get that book, that study book, or when I would recommend watching YouTube videos on the language and grammar section, and also really looking at the books for the yellow one, the one that I used. I kind of skipped over that section, so my worst section was grammar because I skipped over that section and I didn't really do a lot of practice questions. So try to like really get some practice questions in when you study for the grammar, even though you might not think like you might not need it, you probably do. So just remember to test yourself and do a lot of practice quizzes on grammar.
So the guest speakers aren't coming until 6, so we'll wait for them. But before we do that, just wanted to thank you guys for coming. This is our email if you guys want to email us about any questions. But other than that, we are now open for questions. I could also answer some of the questions in the chat because I did see some of them. So I'll just be going through some of those now. If you're applying for next spring, due dates for next spring so the application for spring opens up October, I believe, which is why the last day to take your TEAS is October. So it opens from the month of October to November. So if you're applying for next spring, so for spring 2023, you would have to do your TEAS before October. Any recommendations on online proctored institutions for Sac State, the nursing program, or will any work? I think as long as you send your transcripts to Sac State at the end, location doesn't really matter. But because Sac State used to host them, they didn't require you purchasing a transcript at the end. You know what I mean? But because it's like at a different location now, or it's online, you have to send your transcript so that Sac State knows what you actually did. The website to apply, or no, not to apply, to register for the TEAS is atiteas.com, I think it was. And yes, you can take it during summer break because I took it during summer break. I took 2 attempts. Took my first attempt, I think late June, and my second attempt early July. And I got a 93% my second attempt. If I'm not applying for the TEAS this summer, when would be the best time? I don't understand your question. If I don't apply for the TEAS this summer.